Hi, my name's Liza Rogers, and I'm going to be talking to you today about the 13 colonies lessons that I implemented in my classroom. So as far as what the lesson looked like itself, it was a 3-day lesson. We focused on learning about the 13 colonies and the establishing the colonies in British colonial America. And day one began with a mini lesson. My students watched a brain pop video on the regions of the 13 colonies, and then we focused on vocabulary words like colony, settler, rural, urban, and thriving. We also used Brain Pop Junior to use the word wall activity where you could flip the cards over, and I'll show you that on the next slide, and use the definitions in sentences. And then we took our knowledge from that and used it onto Padlet and created a word map and made sentences incorporating the new vocabulary. And after that, we concluded with a discussion question, and I prompted the students to consider what types of challenges the early settlers faced in the New England colony, because that's our first focus. So day two, I always start with a catchy 13 Colonies song as the hook each day of this whole unit. And it's to the tune of Yankee Doodle, and it goes through all of the states. And then we take some notes and talk about their occupations, land, climate, and culture. And then for their independent activity, they get to imagine themselves as settlers in the 1800s, and they select an occupation, and they make a rough draft today of for a postcard they're going to write, reflecting on their life in the New England colonies that they'll be sending to someone that is still over in Europe. And then the day wraps up with an exit ticket, just to gauge understanding. And then day three, the same hook, we still listen to the song, and then we review the notes from the day before. And then the students will use their rough drafts from day two to create that postcard using the program Canva. So the digital tools we used, like I said, the vocabulary from the Brain Pop word wall. And then we used Padlet, where they would take one of their words and they would put it into a sentence on our Padlet word map that we made together. And then for Canva, they used Canva to create a postcard from the perspective of a New England colonist from the 1800s. And so they had to make a fake address up, and then they had to include the occupation there, talk about the lifestyle, the challenges they were facing to send to their relatives. As far as reflections go, overall, it went really well. My students were very engaged. They loved the song. They loved the Brain Pop video. They definitely hooked them for the day. The vocabulary was great, and they loved the Padlet. I loved being able to see them use that technology and put the vocabulary into practice. And then their independent activities, they really did well with drafting the postcards. There were some struggles with me. I mean, I have some students with IEPs, and so there were sort of some struggles with me managing that group and helping support them while making sure my other students were on task. But that's a pretty normal challenge, I would say. But overall, it went really well. We had a couple of technological issues. Some of them had some issues navigating Padlet and Canva, but we did many lessons before. We've used these programs all year, so they are pretty familiar with them. They just had usual questions. But overall, I found it was very effective. And if moving forward, if I would do this again, I would consider incorporating more hands-on activities and opportunities for student collaboration to further enhance engagement and deepen understanding. So much.